Yo ho ho, Bills Mafia, what's going on? Please forgive me, my microphone is not the correct microphone. We're going to fix that real fast so we can hear exactly the bad news that I feel like everyone knew was coming. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. Everybody knew. Oh, that's much better. That's nice and crispy. I can't even hear myself from your end, but I can tell that audio level is just absolutely pristine. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in, whether or not that you are here live or whether or not that you are watching the playback of this episode. You read that title correctly. You definitely read that title correctly. The whole D-Hop rumors that were circulating around, it started, I want to say, in March. It picked up some steam in early April, and then lo and behold, it's May 2nd now, and then D-Hop is not on the Buffalo Bills. He is not on any other team outside of the Arizona Cardinals, in which he seems to be held captive for that most part. And it's definitely a terrible situation. I mean, not necessarily terrible. I still think our offense is 110% still ready to compete, not only in the division, but also in the overall AFC by itself. But it still stings, right? I mean, I feel like for the past couple of weeks, we've been seeing all of those social media posts. Most specifically is when I think D-Hop was doing those facial expressions when somebody was interviewing him, and then they just decided to say, hey, just give me some body language and how you feel about these teams. They mentioned the Buffalo Bills. You know, he smiled. He got all good. So things were heating up. Things were absolutely heating up. But then there was a couple of other signs, specifically during draft night, where I think we started realizing it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen at all. And then that was number one, when we ended up drafting Dalton Kincaid, who I am very, very excited about. I mean, I've been getting DMs from like Dolphins fans being like, hey, why are you so excited about a tight end? You didn't mention him once, and now you're sitting here creaming your pants all over social media. That's not what this video is about, but I do believe we have the next Travis Kelce in this guy. But that was sign number one. That was sign number one that DeAndre Hopkins is not going to be on the Buffalo Bills this year. And then sign number two had to do a little bit with what Brandon Beane had to say about the overall salary cap, because he's been getting absolutely bombarded by so many different reporters about, oh, D-Hop, oh, maybe OBJ, maybe somebody. I'm not sure if you guys can see this. Let me see if I could actually scoot in on this real fast and show you the goods. Maybe not here. Okay. So right here, as you can see, unfortunately, the Buffalo Bills are sitting at a total of $5 million in cap room, in money, right? So now you need to consider, we need to pay our rookies, the guys that we just ended up signing. First round, second round, third round. The overall payments and contracts slightly decrease as the rounds go down. So to be completely honest with you, once that's all said and done, we very well might be in the negative, right? Or we very well might have just a few other things. And Brandon Beane even mentioned going into it, he said, if you can find me a receiver that is willing to take $2 million, then by all means, send him my way. Send him my way if you can find a receiver that is willing to take $2 million. I know that D-Hop was saying that he was willing to go on ahead and he was willing to sort of take a restructure contract, like take a team-friendly deal. But let's be honest with ourselves here. I don't think $2 million is really doing much for him and really anybody else at this point. So somewhat disappointed. I think the Buffalo Bills offense is still in a tremendous position, especially with the material that we added on the offensive line sort of spot. I do love the Dalton Kincaid aspect. Like I said, I think the Latavius Murray deal was a sleeper pick. Like, yeah, guy's older, but at the same time, he still got it. He's still putting up 4.6 yards per carry. Something very good. I think despite the disappointment of us not having a blockbuster trade, I know every single team in the NFL that follows whatever fan base is hoping for that during that time of the year. It's just, I don't know. I just don't really see it happening at the end of the day. That's good sports. Oh my God, Brandon Perna. Love you, buddy. Thank you for coming on, man. It's been a while. I will pay Diop $1 million to play for the Buffalo Bills. Hey, Perna, listen, if you have it like setting aside, and if you just want to make a quick little call over to the Pagulas, right over to Brandon Bean, and you want to help the Buffalo Bills get D-Hop on this roster, then by all means, I'm sure that we would be the happiest fan base on the face of the planet. So definitely an exciting time over here for the Bills Mafia. So now it comes down into where exactly does that leave our offense going into 2023? And it kills me because I feel like when you pull up the statistics from 2020 and 2021 and then compared to last year at the exact same time, both of these like offensive numbers that were put out when Dable was calling plays, he was the head play caller, and then Dorsey was the head play caller. They legitimately were nearly identical. And several of those categories, Dorsey actually had an advantage, right? Did slightly better. So I think what a lot of Bills Mafia has failed to see is that our offensive drop-off, like even on an individual positional level, has not really changed much. It has not really changed going into it. In my opinion, the biggest thing that we had was simply just other teams getting better, right? I mean, last year, the Jets defense absolutely blew up. The Dolphins defense still played us hard. Now they have Fangio coming into the mix. So it was really just uniformity, which I have been known to preach for the longest time, as uniformity is very important. But we may have stuck around that mindset for too long at the end of the day, which is very telling as far as why our offense didn't seem to be as electric as it used to be. So the fact that D-Hop is not going to be on this offense, yes, it is definitely going to make me lose some sleep, to be 110% honest with you. But luckily, I have the Monta Sleep Mask, baby, which also just so happens to be the sponsor of this video / live stream right here. Let me tell you what, guys. Let me tell you a little bit about what this mask has done for me. Okay, this mask, legitimately, it is one of the most comfortable sleep masks I've ever had in my entire life. I always thought this was something that my girlfriend would want to buy, but just the overall blackout capabilities of this mask, literally, some could say that I could be an NFL referee right here because I frankly can't see shit. It's very comfortable. It doesn't screw up your ears, and it really helps you get into that REM sleep. Because I'm not sure about you, but I'm tossing and turning until about 3 a.m. in the morning, 4 a.m. in the morning. This is how you need to invest in this. It's an amazing thing. I love it. That information is in my description in case you wanted to check it out. And you're getting 10% off just from hearing about it from me. From me, my friend. I definitely appreciate that. So now that I ended up going off of my rant, I simply just want to open up the floor to any Q&A. I would love to hear your thoughts on our offense. If you're still holding on to some hope that Brandon Bean's going to surprise us, and then for some reason he's going to pull out, $5 million out of his ass, along with Brandon Perna's $1 million that he was planning on putting in as well. So fire away. I would absolutely love to hear exactly what you guys are thinking. If you're disappointed, etc. That's good sports. Perna's coming in and saying that I will pay $1 million just to keep him out of Kansas City forever. I think you and I are on that exact same page. I feel like Kansas City has been getting a lot of shit about their drafts. I mean, I've been seeing, and I mean, granted, there has been a lot of like the normal personalities, like sucking them off, saying, oh my God, they got better. But I've seen quite a few of personalities saying that they are not happy with that one specific receiver that they drafted. That is supposedly supposed to completely replace Juju Smith-Schuster. Let me pull up his name. It is completely escaping me. Wasn't the edge. It was Rashee Rice. It was Rashee Rice. He's supposedly supposed to be replacing Juju Smith-Schuster. From what I've been reading, from what I've been seeing, Guy is a huge developmental guy, is a terrible route runner. So I think that may have been a reach at that one specific point, but I don't really know what's going on. Rodman says, we keep getting ready for the future and present keeps moving right past us. Rodman, I definitely understand you on that. I'm still confident that the Buffalo Bills are going to own this division this year. I really am. I think just with the continuity of coaching, I think as long as Josh Allen has a bit better of protection, has a run game, which I think Damian Harris is going to do very well. I think Damian Harris is automatically better than any running back we have had on this roster for 3 years. Then Osiris Torrance on top of that as well. He is known as an absolute run blocker, hasn't given up a sack in over 3,000 snaps. He's giving you exactly what you want from the making sure that Josh Allen is protected and then also being able to open up some of those gaps where we could see a semblance of a run game. I feel like we're in good shape, man. I really, really do. And so I like the King Felix pick for them, but Rashee Rice in the second was an absolute reach. Yeah, most definitely. I definitely like that Felix pick as well. Solid contribution right to the defense. But, I mean, hey, that's either telling you that they are working very hard for D-Hop to be a Kansas City Chief, or they're just hoping that Patrick Mahomes can make sure that dude man is a product of what Patrick Mahomes can turn him into. So something about that. King Jamie the Mad Chiefs fan, one of my favorite non-Bills fans that tunes in on a regular basis, says Chiefs had about a C-plus draft in my opinion, and he still has faith in us, man. You know what, man? I love when other fan bases say, you know what, man, I still have faith in the Bills, but it just never seems sincere from the Chiefs, right? Like, it's like that older brother that just kicks your ass and fucking everything. And he just pats you on the head and he goes, better get him next time, pal. Good try. Great try, buddy. You were out there showing a lot of heart. Like that backhanded, fucking little brother shit. That's how I feel when a Chiefs fan tells me that, right? I mean, really anybody else, I'm just like, yeah, whatever, dude. But it hurts, man. It hurts. But it's great to see you again, man. Buffalo Wings. Dan, did you grade the draft picks? I did. I released my draft grade video yesterday. Once this is all said and done. Holy shit, I missed a massive something. Yeah. So I released all of my draft pick grades. So definitely go ahead and check that out. Super, super cool. Massive donation from Cordero. Cordero, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. This helps the channel out significantly. I appreciate you. I love the draft, but I wish we could have drafted a Georgia Bulldog player. I hope Dalton pans out because if he was going in the tight end route, I wanted a tight end from Georgia. Two things. Number one, listen, I mean, UGA, that is an absolute program. They definitely produce some of the best defensive players out there on the face of the planet. Very, very good, great defense school, solid offense too. Bunch of weapons. I will say that I believe it was Darnell Washington. He ended up going into the second. Say that we were to pick a tight end out of Georgia from there. I thought that would have been a reach at where we were during the first round. Dalton Kincaid is hands down the best tight end that came out of that draft. The absolute best tight end that came out of that draft. He has elite hands. He's a great route runner. May not be the best blocker out there, but I wouldn't be married to the idea of just because a tight end comes from a specific school that he is the best prospect in the draft. So many people had Kincaid top 10 as far as overall players on the draft, as far as best players in the draft. And he fell all the way to 25. Trust me, I think that this is an absolute steal. I think that we love it. Buffalo Wings, I just subscribed. Thank you, man. Thank you, bro. I really appreciate that. I really, really appreciate that, man. Join the family. It's always a good thing. I try to release a video every day. I try to go live every day just for, some BS Bills news, a little bit of NFL news as well. Sitting here grinding out and hopefully making the off season a little shorter for you guys. as we just speculate to see how everything is going. Jordan Smith is coming in and saying, do you think the Bills will keep all 3 tight ends, or will Morris not make the team? I think Morris will make the team. I think the 4th tight end on the depth chart right now is Zach Richardson. If anything, he's the one that's going to be cut. Bills depth chart. I just want to make sure that I'm not speaking on that incorrectly. Yeah, his name is Zach Davidson. Excuse me. I definitely see us sticking with Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid and Quentin Morris. I think that he's earned his spot. I think that we will keep 3 on the roster by itself, but that Zach Davidson guy is going to be the one that'll be gone. And we'll keep 3 right then and there. But once again, Cordero, thank you so much for that donation, man. Massive. Definitely, absolutely thankful for that. Let me see. Shorter is actually tall. He's going to be a beast and a surprise out of the draft. Go Bills. Pez Buff is absolutely pumped about that University of Florida receiver that we nabbed. Man, he's going to be in some competition for the deep ball, man. He's going to be in some competition for the deep ball. Massive dude, massive receiver. He's relatively fast as well, and is that true deep ball threat. I'm talking like that, like 50-50 ball maniac. So very excited. I hope that he is slowly but surely wanted to be implemented into this offense, and he's not automatically like, hey, you're a wide receiver too now, buddy. Because that's exactly what I think went wrong with Gabe Davis. I feel like Gabe Davis is truly a wide receiver 3. That's where he like thrives. But then if you call his name as a true wide receiver 2, that's a bit different. His hands get a bit more inconsistent. But I mean, I'm very excited about that as well. I mean, with Brandon Beane, he's been known to really hit on some of these late round offensive weapons. Like perfect example is Dawson Knox, Gabe Davis, of course. So hopefully that trend continues. I'm really hoping that that trend continues. I like Mayer a bit more. He's more well-rounded. He would have worked out a bit better for y'all. Yeah, man. I mean, I read a lot of reports on him. And so I read a lot of reports on him as well. I think the biggest need for the Buffalo Bills, or the spot to fill for them, at least from Brandon Beane's perspective, was that he wanted another threat out there that would make defenses scared, right? Like somebody else to look for. Because last year, I mean, honestly, once Gabe Davis didn't end up showing out like he did with the year before that, like teams completely, took Diggs out of the equation. Several double teams, several everything. I think Kincaid on this, I'm happy about it because Dawson Knox is a great blocker. He's a very, very good blocker. So if you put Knox out there and then just sort of line Kincaid out of the slot, that's another person that is a tremendous route runner and a weapon. Somebody that's great with 50-50 balls. And that's going to be able to take a lot of pressure off of Stephon Diggs being the entire offense. Him and Josh Allen having to use his legs. I mean, I respect Mayer. I definitely do. But I think Kincaid fit the best with Buffalo, in my opinion. Rodman says Chiefs fans are laughing at us. Keep it 100. Man, well, at the end of the day, we're just going to have to prove it out on the football field, baby. Once again, we're going back to Kansas City again this year, right? I mean, when was the last time that team came to Buffalo, right? I feel like it's been absolutely insane. That and Cincinnati. We're going back to Cincinnati again next year. Most teams carry 9 offensive linemen on the 53-man roster. If so, the Bills go with Dawkins, Morris, McGovern, Bates, Torrance, Brown, Edwards, Quesenberry, Boddicker, Doyle, or Broker. That's tough. I can go on ahead and say that Broker is not going to be like on the 53. I can go on ahead and say that he is not going to be on the 53. We can go on ahead and actually check this out together. Figure this out, what makes it happen. I'm going to stop this screen real fast, and then I'm going to pull this one up. Yeah. Let me know if this is legible for you guys right now. I know the vast majority of you are probably watching this on your phone, but you can definitely say these starters are here with Dion Dawkins, with McGovern, who I'm not necessarily excited about. My buddy was a Cowboys fan and really didn't have a lot of good things to say about him. He said he was hit or miss. Mitch Morse, Ryan Bates, Spencer Brown. You could say that all these guys are here. So that is 5, 6 with Quesenberry, 7 Osiris Torrance. Bates has played center before in the past. I'm not sure if Greg Manx would stay on. Maybe. I think Tommy Doyle would, man. I feel like that, like, we invested in him too much. I feel like he might be a sleeper as long as he can stay healthy. And then Bucker as well. I feel like Bucker is going to be on almost immediately. So between the two, I say Bucker is definitely on this team. Greg Manx and then Quesenberry, 8, and then Osiris Torrance, obviously, and then these starting 5. That's my best guess. I just don't see Broker making this team. He'll be a practice squad guy, if that. Jizzy Fresh comes in once again. The best name on the face of the planet. Did someone get D-Hop? No, he's still on the Cardinals as of right now, man. Seems to be being held hostage. Michael Arnold's coming in and saying, the Cardinals fan here from upstate New York, if D-Hop was going anywhere, I would have loved to seen him with the Bills. Hey, man, listen, I feel like everybody else in upstate New York and Western New York would have agreed with you. Just please make sure, if you have any control in the situation whatsoever, that he stays far, far, far away from Kansas City. Far away from Kansas City. That would be absolutely prime. The Trek reviewer, he said, I think the offensive line will be better this year. Just look at the depth. Brown, McGovern, Morris, Torrance, Dawkins, and Bates. Edwards with Quesenberry and Broker, with Ike on the practice squad. Man, this coaching staff likes Ike Budiger, man. I'm probably butchering his name. It's Ike Bucker. That's it. This coaching staff loves Bucker. They really do. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it because he's left a lot on the table that I wish would have been addressed in the past. But I just have a feeling that, he's going to be, he's that guy. Rodman says, I'm not sold on Kincaid, but I have to give a chance. Yeah, man, most definitely. I would say just give it like up to like week 3, week 4. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this man like puts up 100 yards receiving week 1. That's how confident that I am that this kid's literally just going to walk into this offense and automatically play like he's been in the league for 3 years. And so I know it's really hard to hype up draft picks like that because we have no idea how any of them are going to transition into the NFL and into that sort of speed. But I will say this. Ever since I've been covering the Bills on YouTube, that was back in 2019 when I first started, this draft pick has hands down the one that I have been the most confident in going into this entire draft. So if that says anything. And so I would say that this is the one draft pick that I have been this excited about and have this much excitement and expectations than right before Josh Allen. So before Dalton Kincaid was Josh Allen when I had this feeling about a draft pick that I was absolutely pumped about. Bobby O'Neill says, the Bills let us down every year. I know, man. I know. But you know what? Sometimes they say ignorance is bliss. Sometimes they say that. Sometimes it's good just to dream because without hope, what do we have, my friend? I mean, it's nice. You know what I mean? It's funny because I was having this argument with a buddy and I was saying, I'm not sure if I would rather go back to the days of the drought where I just expected us to not even make the playoffs, go 8-8, 7-9, or would I rather us be contenders, a good team, and then lose in the playoffs? Like what hurt more? But these past couple of seasons have been fun, man. They've been fun. Yes, they've ended in heartbreak, but they've been fun. Great offense to watch. We have a great quarterback. Our coaching staff has just let us down. And key moments when it hasn't happened. You know what I mean? 716 Buff Legend, I just subscribed. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Welcome to the Dal Mafia Show, Dal Mafia Live. I appreciate that. Bills Mafia is always welcome. Are you guys worried about the Jets? I mean, dude, listen, I'm a fan and I love trolling, especially other fan bases, but I'm also a realist. This Jets team is going to be good. I mean, let's be completely honest with ourselves at this point. They were a quarterback away last year. If they didn't have Mike White and Zach Wilson, if they had any quarterback that was marginally better than either of those two, they would have walked into the playoffs. They probably would have won 3 more games than they did this last year. I think with Aaron Rodgers being in there, that's, I mean, obviously going to help. With Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall coming back, they have a stacked offensive line if they can stay healthy. Defense is young. As long as they stay healthy, as long as the media doesn't scare away like Aaron Rodgers and they hurt his feelings during a press conference and he walks out of New York and starts hosting Jeopardy, then yeah, most definitely, man. This team is going to be crazy good. I have 3 teams making the playoffs this year from the AFC East. I have the Bills winning the division. I have the Jets keeping it very, very close. I have the Jets keeping it very, very, very close in the division, but I have the Jets making a wild card, and I have the Miami Dolphins making a wild card as well. It's going to be Bills, Jets, Dolphins. I think Bills will be 2nd or 3rd seed, and then I see the Jets being the 5th. I see the Dolphins being the 7th. So absolutely crazy. Shorter and Torrance are reunited. Definitely crazy. Buffalo Wings, are you going to any Bills games this upcoming season? Yes, sir. I go to 1 home game a year because I currently live in South Carolina. I was born in Buffalo. I moved down here when I was 13 years old. I'm 31 now. So I go to 1 home game. This year I'll probably go to 2 because all of my family's still up there. And then I'm going to go to 2 away games as well. I'm going to go to the Miami game, right down to Miami. And then I'm still debating on which one I want to go to for the other away game. I'm waiting for the schedule release, which should be within, I think, the next week or so. So super excited about that. Elliot, long time no see, brother, man. I hope, and so I hope to make it up this season. If not, I usually try to get to one of the Florida games. Yeah, man. Yeah, man, for sure. Let me know. Once the schedule gets released, I'm definitely going to attempt to go to Bills and Dolphins because me and all the guys from the AFC East Roundtable, for those of you who are unaware of that show, I have a second YouTube channel that we have a show that has a Dolphins fan, a Patriots fan, and a Jets fan, and then myself, and we just debate for about an hour and a half. It's a lot of fun. We talk a lot of shit to each other, a lot of trash talk, but it's been a great show for like 3 years. We're actually planning on seeing if we can all meet up for like a Thursday night football or Monday night football if there's 2 teams from the AFC East playing and doing some like giant event. But yeah, I mean, that question just gets me absolutely pumped because I'm sitting here just salivating over when that schedule will be released. And do you guys draft any D-line? It feels like your defense suffered greatly when Von Miller went down. Michael, no, man, absolutely. The bad thing is about this is that our defensive tackle room is very, very thin, right? All of them are up for contracts. There's still going to be a couple that are going to be signed. I guarantee you 1 or 2 of them will be brought back. Brandon Beane even mentioned that the one thing he wished that he would have grabbed during the draft was indeed a defensive tackle, but we didn't. So that's going to be a hole of ours. I'm hoping that, say, our secondary can stay somewhat healthy, then we'll be able to still like sort of put a Band-Aid on it until Von Miller can come back week 5 or week 6. I think that's what they're projecting for when he will make a full recovery with his ACL. Yeah, man, it's rough. That, or I mean, we're just going to have to go on ahead and we're just going to have to hope that some of our younger defensive ends like Epinesa, like Greg Rousseau, that they just take an absolute huge jump going on into this season. That would be absolutely crazy. So delusional Patriots fan versus Miami, 110 yards. They suck at covering the tight end. I mean, I feel like a lot of defenses have a really hard time covering a like wide receiver tight end sort of hybrid just because of their, I mean, especially say that you get like a super athletic one that has great hands, somewhat speedy. There's not a lot of linebackers out there that I think are going to be able to cover Dalton Kincaid. That's me. Spin 0481. What is going on, man? We should at least be able to run it to the right side with Osiris and Brown. Hey, man, let's hope. Let's hope, man. Feed Damian Harris. Feed James Cook. I hope James Cook's put on 20 pounds of muscle this offseason. I really do. And then hopefully Latavius Murray. Although I'm not sure if we're going to keep 4 running backs on the depth chart this year on the 53. I heard somebody say, I think it was Sal, or I think it might have been Greg Thompson from Cover One. I forgot who it was. Let me know in the live chat if anybody remembers. But a lot of people are thinking that Murray is just going to be held on the practice squad, and he's only going to be brought up once we end up going up against some pretty serious defensive lines and run-stopping defenses when we need that short yardage situations. So definitely interesting. Brown is a liability in pass protection, but he's not a liability in the run game. Yeah, I mean, that would definitely be a tell, right? And so see Spencer Brown out there, they're like, oh, damn. And they're running the ball. They're running the ball, man. The Patriots aren't going. Sure, they're not. Pez, yo, Down Mafia. I'm in North Carolina, so you want to get a group together for Miami? I am down. Whereabouts in North Carolina, man? Let me know. Yeah, man, most definitely. I'm planning on getting like a huge group, like me and all my friends. And I would love to get some really dope seats too. We missed Breece Hall, excuse me. Oh, yeah, I bet you did. And so if Breece did not get injured last year, I think y'all would have like won at least 2 or 3 more games in the playoffs. 110%. I think it's May 11th for the schedule release this year. 9 days away, baby. Let's make it happen. Habilis comes in. Hi, Dan. I'm a huge fan of your channel. I cannot wait for the 23-24 NFL season. Go Bills. Hey, man. I appreciate that. I think you share the same excitement with myself and everybody in this live chat. It's the lull of the season. But like I said, I'm going to be doing my best to make sure that I can make it speed by hopping on here and giving you guys as much content on the Bills, the NFL, as humanly possible. I appreciate the love. Pez Buff. I am in Hickory near the border of South Carolina. I have been to Hickory a time or two. Well, I mean, actually, I've driven past it when I was going to Asheville. I am in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. My friend. Or around that area, if you will. Okay. So Morning Maya Linda West says, also, what about Kelsey's throwing the Lombardi trophy on the stage, trying to break it? No penalties for that. It was so disrespectful. Man, I feel like everyone's just been disrespecting the hell out of those Lombardi trophies recently. I mean, first off, you have Tom Brady's drunk ass just throwing it from boat to boat. Now you have Travis Kelce trying to break the Lombardi trophy. Wild. Absolutely wild. Cody says, when are you coming to a game in Buffalo? Like I said, man, I try to make it to 1 or 2 a year back home. I have all of my family still up there. Last year, I went to the Dolphins game when they came to Buffalo in December. Absolute blast. Had a great time. Tailgated. The girl I was seeing at the time, she got like super cold in the stadium. So we ended up like walking because she was from the South. And we ended up walking over to Big Tree Inn. And we ended up watching about the second half of the game over there. But it was a blast. And then, yeah. So as soon as the schedule comes out, I'm going to look. My buddy's a big Cowboys fan. He's a massive Cowboys fan. So I told him that I might need to bring him up to Buffalo for that as well. Like show him the experience, film some content, have a good time. But soon, very soon. Gogeta Black says, I have the same birthday as the Bills. That's awesome. Michael Antonitz comes in and says, hope the Browns and the Bills meet in the playoffs. That'd be dope playoff game. Michael, let me tell you what, man. I mean, outside like of the football field, right? Like I'm talking about just the ability of football, nothing outside. I think, damn, man. I think the Browns are going to be good. I think Deshaun Watson's going to come back, baby. I think he's going to come back next year. I think the rust is going to be off, and I have a feeling that like everyone that thinks he like can't play football anymore is going to be sorely mistaken. I think that AFC North is going to be interesting, very interesting. I really want to see what Watson can do next year, and I'm going to see what's up. Like I said, this is outside of like any allegations outside of the football field. I'm just talking about his ability to throw a football, make plays. Outside of that, I think that he's going to shut a lot of people up and show the world like, yo, I can still ball. So very, very excited. We'll let the Southern Bills Mafia group together. I'll come down to South Carolina. Absolutely, man. Let me know. Let me know. I go to this Bills, and so I go to this Bills backer bar in North Myrtle Beach, which is like 30 minutes up the road for me. But like, there's like 100 Bills fans there every single Sunday. Sometimes I stream from there, which is actually pretty funny. Matthew Judo is coming in saying, wait, what do you have to say about Dalton Kincaid? What do I have to say about Dalton Kincaid? I think he's an absolute steal. I honestly think the man was an absolute steal in this draft. Many draft boards had him as a damn top 10 pick going on into this draft by itself. One of the best pass catchers in the draft. Yes, I do include that with all other damn receivers that were taken before and after. Great route runner. Not the best blocker, but I mean, when it comes down into any comparisons, he's the Buffalo Bills' future Travis Kelce. I stand by that. I stand by that. BIYM6969, 40 years old and haven't seen a damn Super Bowl win for the Bills. Frustrated, man. I'll tell you what, I'm 31. I'm about to be 32 in July, and I'm starting to get frustrated myself. I mean, how many more years do I got, man? Right? We got to figure it out. Yeah, man, we got to figure it out. We got to see what's going on here. And go to Miami and represent. Absolutely. We'll hang out with TD. And so we'll hang out with TD Finstock. See what he's doing. Is Hopkins staying put then? Yeah, man. Yeah. So I tried to touch on that a bit during the beginning of this live stream. I mean, we just don't have the cap space for it anymore, man. We have like $5 million left. We have to pay all of our draft picks, like all of our damn draft picks at this point. And then I think even Brandon Beane said something along the lines of say that you can find like, and so an elite wide receiver to come here for $2 million, let me know. Yeah, I don't think it's happening. I just hope that he doesn't go to the Kansas City Chiefs. $5 donation. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Love to hear it. That take deserves $5. And thanks the Jets for giving us Elijah Moore for a pack of Lucky Strikes and a bag of chips. Oh, yeah, dude. I thought the Elijah Moore thing was interesting. I mean, I'm surprised they wouldn't want to keep a receiver like that for Aaron Rodgers, but no, dude. Like, I mean, they'll still have damn like Nick Chubb, like one of the best running backs in the league. I think Watson is just, I don't know. He was just rusty last year, man. I mean, like what? Like he missed like 14 games last year. Like I would say like even during like those last couple of games, like you saw flashes of him, man, he's going to have a full training camp, a full schedule. I think the Browns are just going to be A-okay next year. A-okay. Billis is coming in. What do you think about the Bills' record will be this year? It's tough, man. It's tough. I think this division is going to be pretty rough. Our schedule is pretty rough this year, too. I'm still going 12 to 13 wins, but that still makes us win the division. I'm saying 12 to 13 wins, if that. Yeah, like a 12-5 or a 13-4. And honestly, I would mortgage the future for a Super Bowl now. What do you think? I would love it. I would love it. And Michael, once again, I really appreciate the super chat, man. Goes a long way on the channel. I love it. We have Roscoe B44 coming in. Hopefully Kincaid will be the number 2 we need. I think he will be. I think that was exactly what was going through Brandon Beane's mind. I feel like that's exactly what was going through Brandon Beane's mind when he made that pick. So that's how things are just going to have to go. Matthew Judo, Josh Allen, first 2 targets should be Diggs and then Kincaid. 110%. 110%. Make Dalton like that second threat and then take some of the pressure off of Gabe Davis so he can come back to what he was. Very, very excited about that. Roscoe B44 says our away games are pretty brutal. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I'm still thinking it's like a 12 to 13 win season. It's going to be rough. Hey, man, listen, as long as we make the playoffs and like we just get hot at the right time, that's all that matters to me. How confident are you in the Bills offense and relieving attention off of Diggs? More confident than I was last year, that's for sure. I think that we improved in the running back room with Damian Harris specifically. I think that as long as he can stay healthy, he's automatically the best running back we have on this roster. He would have been the best running back we had on this roster for the past 2-3 years as well. I stand by that. Same with Latavius Murray. I really like that Osiris Torrance pick. I really, really do. I think that gives Josh Allen a bit more protection. I mean, dude hasn't given up a sack in 3,000 snaps in college. Big dude. And then, of course, Dalton Kincaid, man. That guy is an absolute game changer for the Buffalo Bills offense. It's just one more weapon that defenses are going to have to account for. Because, I mean, really, outside of Stephon Diggs, if you were a defensive coordinator last year, who would you have been genuinely worried about? Where, like, you had to say, okay, we need to have, like, and so we can't double team Diggs because we have this guy out here. I don't know. So super, super interesting. Pez Buff says Davis dealt with an injury all last season. If he comes back healthy, he'll be dangerous. I hope so, man. I hope so. I feel like we should trade at Oliver for a pick and took a defensive tackle in the draft. Yeah, I saw that as a take for a bit. Looks like Brandon Beane in the front office should still have confidence in him, man. That, or they just want to like squeeze him out a little bit more, and then once he's a free agent, somebody else can just pay him a bunch of money. But a hungry Ed Oliver would be a good season. Yeah, ask the Boston Bruins what tearing up the regular season means in the playoffs. That was the most wildest thing I think I've seen in sports in a very long time. Best regular season team in all of history gets first rounded by a 7th seed. Morning, May and Linda West. Thank you so much, Linda. I appreciate that. Thanks for doing this for the Mafia, man. Good chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm trying to do this Monday through Friday at some time during the day. Tomorrow, I have to pick up my grandmother at the airport at 1, spend a little time with her. So I'll probably be like early tomorrow morning. I'll probably do like a 10 a.m. or something like that. Figure out exactly what to be talk about, chat, do our thing. We'll happen it. King Jamie the mod says 12 wins. You know you have to play the AFC West this year. I know, man. I know. But, I mean, I'm not going to sit there and put an L down to, like, any team that I think is going to be competitive, right? I mean, we have the most wins by double scores, like, over the past, like, 3 or 4 years than any other team in the league, right? We have 18, and the next closest is the Chiefs with 14. So I still have confidence. I still have plenty of confidence in us still being able to beat good teams. I mean, we do it all the time. I mean, if the Buffalo Bills do anything, we lose against shitty teams that we have no business losing to, right? Like, we play the game of our lives against, like, the Chiefs in the regular season, or like those, like the juggernauts. But then, like, we go up against, like, the Jacksonville Jaguars from 2 years ago, like in 2020 or 2021, where we lost 9-6. Just kind of how everything works, baby. Jets Media, Richie. Oh man. Speaking of the AFC East roundtable, my guy Richie, great content over there. When he's been absolutely going crazy with the Aaron Rodgers acquisition, does some great stuff over there. Does some great things. The NFC East is 10 times better than the AFC West. I mean, honestly, I think the AFC East has definitely drawn an unfortunate hand with the divisions that we are supposed to be playing this year, right? I mean, the AFC West and the NFC East, that's terrible. Like, really, out of any division we could have went up against in the NFC, it was the NFC East, which is, I mean, it's got to suck. And same with the AFC West, right? And it's another Broncos had damn Sean Payton. I mean, hopefully Russell Wilson's still a bust, but there's a chance that they're going to be a very good team. And the Chargers are always a threat. Chiefs, obviously. Raiders will more than likely be an easy dub, but we'll see. I don't think there are any possible way we lose to Cincinnati. I hope it's a revenge game. I really hope it's a revenge game. I hope we go out there and just smack the shit out of them, and I hope we don't see them in the playoffs. That's me. That's me. Well, hey, Bills Mafia, listen, I just wanted to go ahead and hop on here for a little bit. Like I said, morning shows are my new thing. Morning shows are my new thing. I'll be live tomorrow around 10 a.m. I am releasing a video in about an hour or so. It is top 5 teams in the AFC. Top 5 teams in the AFC. It's going to ruffle some feathers, especially from other fan bases. But I ranked the top 5 teams in the AFC. That video will be dropping here within, I don't know, the next 2 hours. So while you're here, make sure you hit that notification bell right next to the subscribe button. Several of you have been DMing me, asking me where I have been. I've been back for, I'd say, a solid month, being pretty consistent. So that tells me YouTube just hasn't been telling you I've been uploading. So go on ahead and make sure those, and so make sure that those notifications are on, and then be on the lookout for the top 5 teams in the AFC dropping in about an hour or two. Love y'all. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you tomorrow morning for another edition of Dom Mafia Live. Let's go Buffalo.